Hello, ladies. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to episode 2 of season 4 of She Who Rises Up podcast, where two women committed to the path of love, evolution, and surrendering to the great mystery of life share their latest life experiences, personal lessons, and insights. So here we are again with my dear friend and soul sister Gemma, ready to muse on life and see what's been happening for us. Hello, Gemma.
Indeed, with Venus fully activated.
With Venus fully activated, indeed, I was just sharing and telling you earlier on that you feel radiant. There is this beautiful energy that's surrounding you. So is that Venus then?
That's Venus. I've been taking flower essences to balance my Venus. Venus is the planet, according to astrology, that rules what we enjoy doing in life, how we enjoy things. Is our Aphrodite, that feminine energy that coming through. And the beauty of the floral essences is that it balances you. Whether you are in one extreme or the other, whether taking it to any of the extremes, it takes you to your center, to your harmony within. And the beauty of flower essences as well is that, as you said, it gives you that radiance look. And yeah, so feeling great, enjoying every moment.
I'm up for it. I can't wait for you to tell me what's exactly the essence that I'm supposed to take. And as we were talking about earlier on, that maybe before sitting with plant medicine a few years ago, uh, I would question maybe a little bit, it's like whether this whole business of floral essences and plants and herbalism and all that, I mean, it works, it kind of works, right? We know it kind of works, but does it actually really really work? And after sitting with the plants, I have zero doubt. There is zero doubt in me that is yeah, magic in action. Magic in action through months.
Yeah,
So Gemma, how have you been?
I've been really good, really good. Yeah, had an interesting week. And it's interesting that we are today, as we record this, on the 1st of December, entering a new month, the last month of this year, which has been for most of us very chaotic, and lots of things happening, lots of drama going on. And we have survived, and we are expecting better things to come. And for that, um, what this month, the last month of 2024, is calling us to do is to let go of control, getting out of ourselves and let more of our souls in, so that we can walk the path of faith. This is the same of flowing with life, which is a very feminine energy, hence the importance of activating your Venus, which is your feminine energy. And the most important thing to do is not what's going on outside, which many things are happening in the world and probably in our lives. It's just what it is. But the most important thing is what happens inside, your growth inside. And you are here with two women who are totally committed, like Lara said in the introduction, to personal growth, and we do it constantly every day. And that's the most important thing. See what's coming in for you inside. How can I improve this thing? How can I do things better? How can I heal these traumas, or even heal wounds with the ancestors? Because this period of this month is asking us to actually go inside and review, who am I? Uh, who am I? What are my beliefs? Are any beliefs that are outdated? Or any new beliefs that maybe I'm more called to follow? Is to observe our communication. What do I believe? Who am I really? It's very important as well, the not only going within to see your individual self, but also looking for the collective from that space within. And aim that every action that we take, everything that we do, is aim somehow to improve the life of others. Even if we are sitting at home doing inner work, that contributes to the collective. So even that supports. But yeah, walk in the path of faith. So I have faith that that will reach you and resonates with you.
Oh, this is a big one right there. The path of faith, the path of trust. I don't know if they are the same or they are twins.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's huge, huge, and for me as well has been such a massive, massive lesson that, especially working with plant medicines, has been one of the greatest teachers. Because it's very easy to trust and have
Hmm.
faith when everything is working out well and life is unfolding in a beautiful way. But it's when you are in the depth of in your deepest situations that is when, oof, you have to take a deep breath in and really trust that things are unfolding for the right reasons, right? So
Yes, yeah, exactly. And like you said, I was also very dubious about the floral essences. I'm not sure what this is. I don't know. But since I started taking them and they work instantly on me, and I can see the results and the effects so beautifully done, the things that come out, and you heal them immediately, and the radiance that is emanating from me, I have no doubt that these things work. I have no doubt. So I'm a living experiment of that as well, like you are with the plant medicine. Yeah.
how beautiful.
So how about you? How was your week?
My week. Wait a minute, let me think.
It's a lot of time now.
Let me think, because literally like every week, every day is like a
Yeah.
lifetime sometimes, right? So I'm going back to
Yeah.
Spain soon. That's what I know. And although the going back and forth is a huge investment I make on many levels. Very intensive, very disruptive at times, very beautiful at the same time, knowing that you're there supporting your family and your pets. I know it's coming to an end, this stage, and this is what's giving me strength to push through. Now, it's very interesting because I hardly were use the word pushing through, because it does go against a lot of the things that I believe in, and also the lifestyle of softness and spaciousness that I lead my life, and I love as well. And at the same time, I acknowledge that there is medicine in pushing through, right? And it's a necessary energy as well to tap into when the situation requires it. And for me, this is it. Yeah, this is it. So the general theme, I would say, the general theme that has been running of the last, since we've done the last episode of the podcast, has been the energy of celebration. The energy of
Nice.
celebration, yeah, yeah, energy of celebration. I'm celebrating the current stage of my evolution, the celebration of coming out as well of a very intense last few years, where the focus, you know that very well as well yourself, because you've gone through something very similar, of the mother line and the mother, celebrating them, also reconnecting to the spirit of my business, and also witnessing in such an obvious way the result of all the investment that we have done on ourselves, right? That in situations that maybe in the past would have taken me down a frenzy of overwhelm, now I show up in a different way, right? And things that or in the past I would have dealt with situation in a way, now I'm finding myself dealing with it from a more grounded and more and a different way. So it's so beautiful as well to be able to witness your own growth in such beautiful detail. And even the celebration that I've lost 2 stones as well, over the last few months, and that was thanks to my perimenopausal symptoms that were asking me to finally take care of my body and release all that extra, yeah, okay, we call it weight, but also extra energy, right? All the extra um, weight, but more an energetic weight. Yeah, energetic feels like an energetic weight that I've been carrying. So that has been very beautiful as well to witness. And And there is a lot to say, right, when it comes to the taking care of the body, and I think that it might deserve a space on it for its own. You
Mhm.
know, this especially talking about Venus. I'm actually really looking forward as well to take these flower
Mhm.
essences and see um, where that would take me as well, because I'm seeing it in you. And now that I'm on that stage of reconnecting to my humanness, and the best way to reconnect into your humanness is to reconnect into your body through your feminine. So this is what I have been focusing on. So I do acknowledge that I have a very rich, and I celebrate that I have a very rich, wise, and deep inner world. And also there has been up to very recently a mismatch as well with the outer world. So it's I'm bridging, yeah, these two worlds together. Yeah. So the losing of the weight, it feels more of a metaphorical thing. That, yeah, it's great that although I do love myself, I've loved myself for finally for a very long time after many years of really disliking and unloving myself. And now on top of loving myself, I'm actually liking what I see in the mirror. So it's a beautiful thing as well to witness that. Yeah. Yeah. But that doesn't mean as well that, and this is an important point, that um, the celebration, it means that, oh, this is it, I'm sitting on my laurels, this is it, the healing is ending. Number one, because for those of us who choose to do this work, and I believe according to my chart that I have like three planets on my 12th house, is that right? Some
Yes,
that
you
and the
do.
same with you, something like that. I'm still very new
That's
to
that's it.
the
Yeah, yeah.
jargon, which means that we are committed to this work. So
Yeah,
those of
exactly.
us who are committed of this work, we're not sitting on our laurels, but we continue to unfold, knowing that healing is. And now, before I was like, yeah, maybe there is an end to all of this. No, actually, there's no end.
No, there's no end. It's a continuous spiral to the infinite.
There is no end, and the sooner we acknowledge that actually healing has no end, so we stop pursuing the end goal, because there's no such thing as end goal.
No, no. There's always something better that you can be or do, and yeah. It's amazing. I'm doing a course on flower essences as well, and my teacher is a very conscious man, and he was talking about this the other day. There's no end. You can take it as whatever you want. Either way, you can go to the dark side. You can get worse and worse if you want to, or you can go to the better side, obviously, and evolve as a better human being, contributing to a better world. But there's no end. There's no end to it, and it's good because God is infinite, and so there's infinite possibilities of how we can be and where we can go. There was something very interesting that you said. Well, everything that you said was very interesting, but something that caught my attention was what you said about the inner world. Like yourself, I also got to the realization that my biggest value is my inner world. The big commitment to my spirituality, to my consciousness, to my growth internally, and realizing that my value is not outside for what I have, for what I am, for what I've become, for what I've done in the past, but on that gave me great freedom as well, a reason to celebrate too. Gave me great freedom, and knowing what your biggest value you consider to be is, um, give you that radiance as well to go outside in the world saying, look, I'm a woman who really values my inner world. Whatever is not aligned with that, I'm not really that interested in. It's okay, I observe it, but I don't belong to. And that's helped me a lot because I'm someone who, with Chiron on the 11th house, has sometimes difficulty in not knowing who I am when I'm in a big group of people, and I lost a bit myself. Um, but that's okay now because I know who I am. I know what my big value is, and if I feel I don't belong somewhere, that's okay. I don't feel an outsider anymore. It's just I'm different, not better or worse than anyone else, just different. So I'm surrounding myself with people who are similar, who have similar virtues, who have similar values as well, and that makes me really really happy and gives me much inner peace.
And that inner peace as well is coming from, and this I'm learning from you now that you're doing your astrology, re-educating yourself in astrology, and it's the very specific blueprint that each of us came here to experience. And the more that I'm diving into this concept, even if we use it as a powerful framework, individual framework, bespoke framework to help us understand our own inner blueprint and the roadmap of our life, you realize that, guess what, my understanding, right, from what you've been sharing about my birth chart, is like beauty is something very important in my life.
Mhm.
So and that's, it's in my stars, right, it's written in
Yeah,
the
it
stars,
is.
written
Mhm.
in the birth chart. So instead of fighting it, saying, oh no, I'm supposed to, let's tone it down here and there because whatever, for whatever reason, by knowing that that is a something important that I came here to experience, guess what? Actually, is empowering me to
Yeah.
celebrate that aspect, right?
Mm.
So I'm finding it very fascinating, and it's a brand new world I'm entering through you, the world
Mm.
of astrology, to understand
Mm.
yourself to
Mm.
the extent that I can't wait for you to finish your course, because I made the decision that from that point onward, whenever you finish, any of the sisters that I'm going to be working with on a one-to-one basis, I would like them to have their chart
Yeah.
done first, in
Yeah.
order for us to understand the key work that needs to happen, and actually go straight to the point. Why to waste time?
Exactly. It helps a lot because it's your map of who you are, and it's not who you need to be at all. It is not restricted. It is a point of evolution. So you take your chart, and you know what you bring to this life, what archetypes you bring to play with, and where and how they play. And it's great to know because, like you said, like you said, I know I like beauty, but maybe this is not what I'm meant to do, or maybe I'm doing too much, or whatever, like you said. But it's in your chart, and you know that you're doing your what you're supposed to be doing. So from there, it's just going for it, even with more intention. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. Finish my course in March. I'm not sure if I will call myself an astrologer then, because there's lots of information to know, and lots of practice to be have. But certainly, I will be able to start. Yeah, assessing women or helping women with who they really are, and how they can evolve it.
How beautiful, how beautiful. Do you know what I feel like sharing? There's something that I feel like sharing, and I think it feels that we changing. Shall we change? Would you allow me to change
Please
now
do. Mhm.
directions? Yeah, because I've just finished my bleed, and and I feel in my body that my energy is rising. I feel it very,
Mm.
very strongly, and I wanted to take a moment as well, because there are a lot of women that whenever I share the concept of cyclic living and cyclic working, they do ask me about, so what do I do when I'm menstruating, so, and I wanted to take a moment as well to share some information there. And um, and I think it's important, right? And I think it's important to honor our cyclic wisdom in a world that is not designed for the empowerment of humanity altogether, full stop, right? And one of the ways in which it touches women, it's in the way it manifests itself is through the dismissal and the honoring of our cyclicity, right, both collectively and also individually. And I personally, I refused a long time ago to continue participating in the hustle culture, the come on, let's go, or you could do anything a man can do kind of mentality, like fuck that, fuck that. And then actually we are surprised why women are so stressed and so overwhelmed,
Mm.
which when I was in my 20s and 30s, by the way, I could get away maybe with that mentality of, come on, let's go, come on, um, because that stage of my life, at least in my case, 20s and 30s, one was run also by the archetype of summer energy, right? And this is something important as well to understand, is that we are governed by different cycles at the same time, right? So while I am governed by my monthly cycle, at the same time there is an overarching energy depending of what age you're what age you are. So for example, in my 20s and my 30s, I was more in my warrioress energy, right? Getting shit done, up for things, grabbing opportunities, and it's very spring, very summer, very out there kind of energy. While now being in my premenopause, it's very autumn like, right? And at times very ayahuasca like. I call this also the ayahuasca stage, where you are being shown the deepest, the darkest, everything about your life, and the beauty as well, everything is being magnified, to see what you release and what you keep. And um and um and where else do I want to go with this? Because there is another thought that was coming to mind as I'm musing on this. um is there anything you want to add, actually, until I get my thoughts? Because somehow I lost my chain of thoughts here for a
Mhm.
second.
Well, talking about my experience with the premenopause as well, I yeah, I felt the same way in my youth. I was very much moved or motivated by that inner force who wanted to go somewhere, to get something, to be, I don't know, have this job, this car, this house. More masculine, I would say. My energy was very masculine, and as you become into your autumn side, like you said, your feminine energy wants to really come out and look after you. And it's not that you're not ambitious, by you're not driven by it, you still have dreams. um but the more feminine, the more flowing, you have desires and you let them go, like you walk on the path of faith, on the path of flow. And that's more feminine. That's what I've been experiencing in this last few years, especially now that I'm much more centered. That my masculine is giving way to the feminine and taking a back seat. It doesn't mean that it's not there. It's probably more present than ever, like it has to be. But the feminine is much more present and leading the way for the masculine to follow. I'm talking about the internal energies, masculine and feminine, of course. Mm.
Yeah, very, very interesting, very interesting. um I can't wait to go through. I'm in premenopause. I've been in premenopause now for a few years, as far as I know, for 6 years, and I can't wait to cruise the menopause. To go through that portal. To become the elder, to become
Yes, the
officially
wise
the wise
woman.
woman,
Yeah.
right? That is when that is like, whoa, that is such a powerful portal. Anyways, I think I got my chain of thought here back. So thank you so much for as well sharing that and allowing me the space to gather my thoughts. And um, so when I share, because one of the key teachings that or wisdoms that I bring to the corporate world is how to reconnect to our womanhood and pretend that our womanhood doesn't exist, and pretend that our cyclicity doesn't affect us. And some of us have created a lifestyle, and we have businesses that honor that, but also understand that for the sisters who are working in corporations, in this case, in my case, I work in the corporate world, then it might be a little bit more challenging to live cyclically, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible, and there are many ways, and we could use our infinite creativity to come up with a plan to honor that. Now, The good news is that the workplaces are starting to be more open to menopause, and they have some initiatives as well to support women, which is unbelievable. And what I also believe is that workplaces, that if actually workplaces, I'm going to be a little bit controversial here, that if actually workplaces were really concerned about supporting women in menopause, which is when basically our sexual hormones get really disrupted, they also should be concerned about supporting women before we hit menopause. you know, if there is a true desire there. And how do we do that? Well, it's by honoring and not pretending that our cycles don't exist. Now, the thing is that based on my hypothesis, and this is a hypothesis of mine, and is based on anecdotal data, meaning data of the ladies I've been working with, is that when I am disengaged from my body in my 20s and 30s, then that is going to show up in my premenopause, right? As an opportunity for me too. So my question is, what can then organizations, since they're also concerned about supporting women in menopause, what can they do as well to understand our cyclicity before we hit menopause, right?
Mhm.
So that was something that I've been thinking about quite a lot recently. And the good news is that there has been some interest of organizations saying, "Hey, would you consider giving education to to our workforce to understand that?" So there is an interest. Yeah, there is an interest. Where am I going with all this? I'm musing again. This is the musing aspect.
But that's interesting to know that there is interest in educating women within the organizations to become aware of
Very little,
of their
very
own
little,
cycles,
very little.
so that they can educate the rest of the workforce. I think it's as important as having maternity leave or something like. I remember when I was working at the corporate on my 30s, and I used to suffer a lot during my periods. I never had pains, but I had really deep depressions, and I used to go down really bad, and to the point that getting up of bed was really really hard for maybe a day or two. And I think that was the only times when I used to call sick sometime, because it was impossible.
So,
And
so I have a question for you, Gemma. Have you ever called saying, "I've got such a bad cramps because of my period"?
have I ever said it?
Yeah,
No.
right. So you gave other reasons, right? I'm not
Yeah,
feeling well, or I am.
exactly. I have a cold or whatever, but it never occurred to me to say the real reason. Um, in fact, I avoided it. I avoided it because I thought, well, they're gonna think of me that I'm a weak woman, or they're not gonna work. They're not gonna want to work with me. So yeah, I never said it. I never said the real reason why I was calling off sick. Mm.
And this is a very interesting point, and thank you for sharing that. I mean, from here, I don't know if any of my former team members will ever listen to this podcast, but I do sincerely apologize to all the women in my teams for not being a leader who was connected to her own cyclicity, because by me as being their leader, um, and dishonoring my own cyclicity, I don't recall ever, and I'd say like easily 80% of my team were women, easily. I don't recall people calling in sick because of their period, because of their
No,
cramps, because they were
no,
so unwell, because sometimes it really takes over. I don't recall that.
no, no.
And it would have
It would have sounded like a joke. Oh my god, yeah, she's on a period and she's calling off sick. It wasn't serious.
Mm.
So yeah, I was a leader too of a team, and I the same. I don't recall that at all. And I know that if someone had called to say I'm on my period and I cannot come, I would have thought, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, okay,
Or rolling your eyes, right? Because
yeah,
the deep disconnection we
yeah,
also have in our bodies,
exactly.
right?
More masculine, because your masculine used to drive you at work back then. So yeah, that disconnection.
Exactly, exactly. So that's why it's I'm deeply, deeply excited, and I guess this is my way as well to to give back by educating the ladies and so many leaders, women leaders at this stage, about the importance of that. So we also are able to support the our team members who need that support. I mean, I mean, maybe they won't think or see that I've let them down, but I feel in my heart that I've let them down, because I'll also let myself down, by not pretending that that existed. And how many
Mhm.
times, because I also used to suffer a lot during my
Mm,
period.
mm.
And what did I do? I'd take a couple of pills.
Yeah,
I'd
exactly.
take a couple of
Hmm.
pills. I so many times I went to the toilet. I sat on the floor of the toilet until the pain. Or I'd go to a meeting room until that pain finished, and then I'll go out pretending as if nothing happened. Right? I
Yeah,
mean, there's
there you
something
go.
insane,
Yeah,
right?
insane, insane. And
Even
if you think about it, we are actually bleeding. There's something inside of us that is breaking down and coming out as blood, and parts of your body are coming out. Of course, it's gonna hurt. Of course, it's gonna affect you somehow. And looking back now, as you are inviting us to do, it really puzzles me and embarrass me as well to think I didn't consider myself to start with how much I was suffering, because like I said, I never had really bad pains, but my emotions were just all over the place. Really suicidal thoughts of the big depression that I used to go to through every month. And I'm embarrassed that I never shared with anyone. That was something that was mine. There was nobody to tell you anything, nobody to share with. I came across a few books and that helped me a bit. That's what it was. Thank God.
exactly,
Thank God. Things
exactly.
are different today, and you have so much knowledge of it, because I know how much you've been studying that subject. That it really excites me that some women are going to benefit from all
Me
that
too,
through
me too, me too, me too. And it really excites me to bring that knowledge to the corporate world, which is what I know and who I work with, and also obviously to myself. I had to do the deep embodiment work in there first. So I wanted to share a few tips, because this is one of the questions that I get asked the most. So what do I do? Like, I don't have the luxury maybe to stay at home while I'm bleeding, because bleeding is, and I'm talking about bleeding because this is the stage I just came out of it, where I created a lot of spaciousness and I deeply rested, but at the same time, I needed to show up to some more commitments, and that I would traditionally would have not even organized them during that week. But because I'm cruising premenopause, I don't have the luxury anymore of knowing when my period is coming, right? I'm guessing. Now the good thing is, like,
Mhm.
while I'm guessing, I also can create space for to rest as much as possible. So what would happen if you are the owner of your diary, then and you're not on, for example, client facing roles like a cashier or security guard, right? So block your diary. Like, I block my diary in advance. And if your period is regular, then there's an advantage, right? So you're more in control of that. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to be more intentional with my meetings. I'm going to reschedule was not urgent nor important. And actually, here, then we are provided with an opportunity to really check with ourselves and do a two for one. Because many times, not all times, I acknowledge that I've been in corporate for over 20 years of my life, not all times, but what we perceive to be as urgent and important, if it's us deciding, is driven by a belief. Right? So let's check on that belief. Let's check on that. What else can I do? I'm going to have as much space between meetings as possible. If I still need to do a presentation or a performance management meeting, then guess what? I'm going to practice more self compassion, especially if things didn't go according to plan and you have a tendency to beat yourself up. And I always use the same example of a time when I was invited to give a talk in front of almost 300 people, and I was right in the middle of my menstruation. And I remember I knew that the talk wasn't coming from my heart; it was coming from my brain, especially because I knew it by heart. That talk, I had given that talk many times, but my legs were shaking. So while my body was telling me, asking me to go inwards and rest, I was there in front of almost 300 people, right? And because I knew this information, I didn't beat myself up. but I brought a lot of self compassion as well to me, right? So what would happen
Mm.
if you are in clients facing roles? So what can you do? You could ask, for example, to change responsibilities if that's feasible. You could take more breaks, or what happens as well, what happens after work is equally important, right? Because it's not the right time to lift heavy weights. It's not the right time to do hit workouts, right? It's not the right time to eat inflammatory kind of food or cold food, So I'm going to rest. And by the way, I could also rest while working, by doing those tasks and those projects that require the right energy to do that, more creative as well, more insightful, more strategic at the same time, right? What else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? I'm thinking the hot bath is, and yes, darling, you want to say something?
Yeah, if you allow me, what I would suggest as well is to be ruthless with it. Don't do what I did or Lara did, like we hid it. Just share with your people. Let's start educating the world that we are women, we have periods, and we suffer a lot. Most of us do in one way or another. If you had this presentation, like Lara was saying, ask for help. Let's be vulnerable. Let's walk the path of faith. Let's get our souls in and be authentic. I'm on my period. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm gonna need help, or I'm gonna need a break, or can someone do this for me? I don't know.
Mm,
Let's do it. Let's
mm.
start educating the world without example, but being vulnerable from that space of truth. What do you
Oh
think?
yeah, I would love that. I think I hope that there comes a point where we open about these things in the way that we're saying, "Hey, I'm feeling under the weather, or have a cold, or have a headache, or whatever." Then it would be so ideal, at least in my world, um, for that to be super normalized, right? I also understand that. Are we there yet? No, I don't think so. There's a lot of taboo around that.
Mm,
But at least, if anything, by women, the first step, I think, no, I think I know, the first step to all this is by women doing the work themselves first, right? So take care of yourself first. And then for
mm,
sure, the next step would be let's normalize this as much as possible. And something else, that prompted while you saying when you shared this, and that's about once I have embodied uh, once I have embodied this myself and integrated this wisdom, let's practice the philosophy of women supporting other women,
exactly. Yes.
which means that once I know this information, let's not pretend that that information does not apply to other women.
Mm, yes.
Right? Let's so we do have a duty, in fact, to be more tolerant and understanding of our fellow sisters, and to educate ourselves in premenopause. How many times, I'm facilitating a workshop and I literally fucking go blank. I go blank. I say, sisters, this is premenopause in action.
Yep.
Yeah, I go blank. Oh, I forgot. I
Mm,
just forgot. Where were we?
mm,
So
mm.
without making a big
Yeah.
deal, but it's what it is. So
Exactly, and that doesn't make you less efficient or less nothing, because I mean we all go through periods of life where we have, I don't know, a divorce going through, or somebody died that we loved, and you might be experiencing similar things, that you forget things, that you don't feel well. Well, this is every month, every single month for a woman's life. So it has to be normalized. It is normal. It is very normal, and like I said, it doesn't make you less efficient. Maybe on those days a little bit, but it doesn't make you less efficient. It just, you need
yeah,
to do things differently.
absolutely. There's no. I mean, that's the thing that once we understand our cycle, it's the ultimate biohacking and productivity tool for women. You know,
Hmm.
I know that every month I have at least 2 days when I become like the queen of organization. The queen of organization. So if something during a stage of my cycle is going to take me 2 hours or 3 hours to do it, let me harness the power of those 2 hours instead of pushing through.
Yeah,
And by doing it in another stage of my cycle, it might take me 2 days.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it might
yeah.
take me 2 days. So that doesn't mean, by the way, I also wanted to clarify that doesn't mean that I can't do anything at any stage of my cycle. I could do
Mhm.
anything at any stage of my cycle. But by harnessing the power of my cycle, I'm making life easier for me.
Exactly.
So I
Hmm.
spend 2 hours organizing,
Hmm.
instead of 2 days, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
after you said that, I guess that we, by making life easier for us, we make life easier for other people. Because if one day you're not performing well because you're on your period, and I don't know, maybe you forget something really important or something goes wrong because of it, by letting know people what you are at, is easier for you and for others as well. By taking care
Interesting.
of yourself, you make it easier for other people too.
Mm. Oh, for sure, you make it easier for others as well, of course, especially in the in relationships as well, personal relationships. So yeah, yeah. By us, let's super integrate this information. Let's educate as well our children and our spouses and our girlfriends and boyfriends about this very important. And I'm hoping, I don't know if we're going to find and live this through this lifetime, that at one point the workplaces will also catch up on this information, and and also support women not only during menopause, which is in a very crucial important stage of our cycle, but also what happened before menopause, precisely because it's not just about, you know, equality here. We're talking about
Hmm.
equanimity, and equanimity is about providing the right resources to the right people. So I know that by, if anything, educating ourselves on this matter, we are helping to bring yeah, more balance. More balance.
Hmm.
We've gone way over what we wanted, you know, to the timing. Is that right?
Yes.
I
I
think
haven't even
so.
been looking at the clock.
I think
I've
so.
been
I think
enjoying it
so.
so much.
I'm a Virgo, you know, so I'm a bit more controlling over these things, you know. Anyways, is there anything else, my lovely, that you want to talk about or share?
Yes, I would like to add that when we share about our periods, to do it with as much joy as we can, because it's a beautiful thing. I know it's painful, and I know it's, mm, but it's beautiful. It differentiates us as women. It's the potential of bringing life to this world is the only portal that human life can't have to come into this world is through a woman, thanks to your period. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And yeah, when we share it, let's share it with joy, as with beauty, because that's what it is beauty.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Gemma. Okay, anything else you'd like to share?
That's it. How about you?
That's it. I think, yeah, I think me too. Me too. That's it. That's it. Okay, my love. So with this, let's close. Let's close today's portal. We hope that you found this insightful, that you got some beautiful reminders, that you got some beautiful medicine as well for to yourselves. Um, I wasn't expecting to talk about some of the things that was, you
No.
know, that came up today.
Hmm.
So I trust that it was for the right reasons. You're talking about
Yeah.
trust. Remember earlier on we
Exactly.
were talking about
Exactly. Yeah.
trust.
The path
I
of
trust that
trust,
was for
the
the
path
right
of
reasons
faith.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. And I'm sure it was. It feels like we've had a conversation like we normally do every day. We
Yeah,
just open to the public. So
yeah.
it'd be nice to just sit with us with a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, and just be part of this conversation, listening to it.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you
it.
so much. Thank you. So speak to you very soon. Bye
Speak to
bye
you
for now.
very soon.